when I was born, the doctors told my parents, you need to hug her and hold her and give her as much love as you can because she's not going to make it.
The doctor didn't think she'd live more than a few days. That made him the first of many to underestimate Patricia Humphries' power to persevere.
I was a sickly child, they called them in those days. And so the school didn't want me participating in sports, and instead I became a runner. And even though I'd have a lot of pain in my lungs afterwards, it was worth it to have won the race. And that's kind of been my point all my life, is I'm going to win the race.
She's finished many races throughout her life, but not always in record time. For example, she set out to get a college education in the 50s, but when she got married, her new husband had other ideas.
He said, that's okay, honey. You just take 1 year off and then you can go back. And those 1 more years ended up 25 years. And then I found out that my husband wasn't keeping our wedding vows. It was a very messy divorce. I said to my lawyer, she said, what's the first thing you're going to do, Pat? I said, I'm going to go enroll in college.
And that's exactly what she did, even after she found out that her previous college units were too old to transfer.
And so I had to start all over from the very beginning on my AA, and that was in 1986. In 1988, I earned my first AA in psychology, and all along the way, people kept saying to me it couldn't be done.
There were some others who said it shouldn't be done.
I started having some serious heart problems. I remember one cardiologist saying to me that I had to stop going to school. I had 28 cardiac events and emergency room visits in 1 year. Then my thick-headed self finally cut back. And I stopped going to school full-time and started going to school part-time. When we first came to California, my mother and her girlfriend had a job at the U.S. Grant Hotel working as maids, and they would sneak me in on Saturdays and let me help them. And one of the big rules was that we could not, as maids, go into the grand ballroom. And I get a little choked up even now when I think about it. Guess where they had the graduation ceremony for my doctoral degree? It was in the grand ballroom of the U.S. Grant Hotel. And so, you know, it isn't how long it takes you to do something, it's whether or not you reach your goal.
Pat went on to do clinical work in private practice and with the Orange County Healthcare Agency. She joined the faculty of the psychology department at Chapman University, but over the years, her health challenges became more and more serious and disabling.
I do have discogenic spinal disease, and I also have scoliosis, and I have fibromyalgia, and I have 4 different kinds of arthritis. It was very painful, and I learned a long time ago to live with pain 24 hours a day.
Then on top of that, she hit an obstacle she couldn't overcome on her own, a major heart attack.
In the beginning, I couldn't even bathe myself. I couldn't even get myself to the bathroom. I finally found out that I had to learn to ask for help, and that's been the hardest lesson of my life. When you're used to being the person who's going out and helping other people, you never think that someday you're going to need help.
And a big part of that comes from Senior Serve through the Meals on Wheels program.
I have one gentleman who comes to the door, and when he leaves his car, I can hear him whistling, and he whistles different songs all the time. And we have a game where I try to guess the name of the song, and then we go over the words together. And that's more than just delivering food to me every day. He's engaging me, and it's just something to look forward to every day. If it wasn't for Senior Serve, I wouldn't be able to be independent anymore. And that's very important to me. I've never wanted to be a burden on anyone. And I still don't want to be a burden on anyone. And they give me a chance to believe that I can still take care of myself with their help.